I'm in a baking mood today, so today I'm going to make a pumpkin pie. Starting off with a pastry. Now, I suck at pastry. I've always sucked at pastry. I've been told it's my hands are too hot, I handle the pastry dough too much, or what have you. But one thing or another, I end up with heavy pastry that's not very nice. Until a cook that I know said, "Why don't you make it in your food mixer?" I said, "Okay, how do you do that? Is there some sort of trick or secret?" She said, no, just stick in your basic shortcrust pastry mix into your food mixer, blend all the ingredients up, drip your water in until it forms a solid dough, and chill it in the freezer, in the fridge for an hour, and then it's ready to roll. Simple as that. So it's just like buying the ready rolled stuff from the supermarket, but you get to say you've made it yourself, which is pretty cool. So all you need is a couple hundred grams of flour, 100 grams of fat. I use a mixture of lard and butter, and if you want a sweet pastry, as I'm doing here, a bit of caster sugar, just to sweeten it up. So in there I've got the flour and the fats and the sugar. So what I'm going to do now is switch that on and just blitz that until it forms breadcrumbs, and then it's a case of dribbling the water until it forms a dough ball. Okay, next take a little cup, some nice cold water, and you literally just dribble this in until it starts to come together. It doesn't take much at all, nothing near as much as I've put in here, but it doesn't take much at all. Okay, so it's not kind of clumped together like it usually does, but it has kind of come together, as you can see there. Basically what you do once you get to this stage is just with cold hands Now, there are people who advocate having a bowl of iced water and sticking your hands in that for a minute before you handle pastry. If you're into sort of self-torture, fine, but I just run my hands under the cold. For the pumpkin filling, taking the ingredients straight off the can, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, half teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cloves, 2 large eggs, a can of pumpkin, right here, a can of carnation evaporated milk, and the pie dish obviously we've made the pastry for that. So yeah, this stuff, pumpkin puree in a tin, I've not seen anywhere. This was sent to me by a friend in America. She sent me a couple. I've made one tin already, and this is the second one. And I've not seen it in any of the supermarkets. So if anybody in the UK knows where we can get this, let me know. That'd be great. Okay, in this bowl here we've got the dry spices mix, which consists of sugar, salt, cloves, ginger and cinnamon. You can see lovely brown sort of sugary colour and texture. And then mix up the wet ingredients in the mixing bowl, the eggs, the pumpkin, and pour in this, which smells absolutely fantastic, incidentally, and I've not got a great sense of smell at the moment because I'm stuffed up with cold, so that's pretty cool. Pour this in, mix it all in, and then mix in the evaporated milk, and then once the pie shell is blind baked, pour this in, and then we bake it. Okay, so that's a couple of well-beaten eggs. That's the pumpkin, the puree, as it looks in the tin. If you were able to get a hold of fresh pumpkins, obviously you could chop them and puree your own. But again, the problem we seem to have over in the UK is the only pumpkins we really tend to get are the ones at Halloween that we carve into lanterns. And apparently they're just not as nice for cooking. The smaller ones are much sweeter, so I've been informed. So, pumpkin puree into the bowl, and we'll just mix that in with a wooden spoon. And then the dry spice mix goes into there. Now at this point, it looks kind of like baby food, or possibly, well, yeah, use your imagination there. It doesn't look the most appetising at the moment, but once it's in the pastry case and it's baking away and it sets, then it's absolutely delicious. This is not a recipe for the diet conscious. And once the carnation's in, what you wind up with is you can see that without me tipping it everywhere. A nice, thick, gloopy, pumpkin coloured sauce. Kind of looks a bit like a soup, but obviously you've got the smell of the spices and the sweetness of the evaporated milk and everything in there. So yeah, the next thing is I'm going to leave this to sit and wait until the pastry is chilled, so then I can roll that out and line the tray, and I'll be back once that's ready to go into the oven and bake. The pumpkin pie's been baked, and basically rolled out the pastry that I'd made earlier, lined the tray, and then 2 trays, and this time I just made one big one last time, but this time I made 2 small ones, separated the mixture into 2 cups worth each, poured them into the pastry unbaked, and then into the oven. They go in at 220 degrees C, 425 Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes, and then at 180 C, which is about 385 Fahrenheit I think, something like that, for a further 30 minutes or thereabouts, and they'll inflate in the oven. And I'm going to take the second one out now. See, that will deflate as it cools on the hob top there. And like you would with a cake, to test that it's cooked, stick a knife or something sharp into the middle. If it comes out clean, a skewer or something, it's cooked. So what I'm going to do now is leave that to cool down a little bit, and then I'm going to cut myself a slice and enjoy that. Okay, so there we go. Not the neatest first slice out of the pan, but you know, I don't really care, it's going to taste good all the same. And what better to have with pumpkin pie than a good dollop of Scottish ice cream. Cracking. So that is absolutely lovely. So there you go, pumpkin pie. Thanks for watching.